So it took me almost a week to produce this video, and I'm going to explain why. It's because I wanted to really show the figure off in its all of its glory. So the first thing I'll show is sort of this rocket that is this rocket gimmick that is shooting out of his abdomen. So I will remove that and close up his abdomen. The moment I took this figure out of the box, I knew it was a winner. This thing has an unbelievable amount of weight. This has got to be 2 to 3 pounds. And there is a ton of metal. There is certainly plastic on here, but there is a ton of metal. And it has got to be one of the densest figures I have ever held. 5 Pro Studios, Blitzway, really did an incredible job. This is probably the most impressive figure I have ever seen. So let's go in and show. Now the reason it took me so long is because this figure requires batteries, and unlike almost every other figure with light-up features that I've ever had, this one did not come with the batteries. So that was a little interesting. So this requires, and I'll show you how it. So in the back is a panel, and those are two LR44 batteries. Now when I got the batteries, it took a couple days, and I was looking, I was like, well, those aren't going to fit. Now they fit in there, but the problem is that there's batteries in there also, in the back here. And those are LR41. So when I found that out, it is in the manual, which is all in Japanese, but I saw that it required LR44. I didn't notice that it also required LR41, which is a different size battery. And so then I had to wait a couple more days to get that. But there is Boss Borat in all of its glory. And so we are celebrating right now, it says right there, the 50th anniversary of Mazinger Z. And then I guess in another year or two, we'll celebrate the 50th anniversary of Great Mazinger, which maybe we're going to get a bunch more figures related to Great Mazinger. Boss Borat is basically a joke character created by these three kind of silly characters named Boss, Muka, and Nuke, or I can't remember their names, but they were able to create a robot themselves. He's nowhere near as strong as Mazinger Z, but he can help out. There's a lot of things that he's able to do. The joints are all absolutely gorgeous. They're ratchet joints. They're nice, and they're firm, but they're not overly stiff. They kind of reproduce the noodly arms of Boss Borat. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different joints here on the arms, and again, they're all ratchet joints. The legs are ratchet joints. There's not a lot of posability that can go on with the legs because of the nature of the figure and how squatty he is. But it's a very stable figure. It is the only way it's going to fall over is if you give it a good knock. Okay, so it comes with a ton of gimmicks, and the gimmicks, they're related to different episodes. I'm actually working my way through Mazinger Z for the second time, and we haven't gotten to the point yet where they created Boss Borat, so he has not appeared yet, but they created a lot of gimmicks related to different episodes. So for instance, in one episode he was kind of dressing up as Mazinger Z, and some of these gimmicks I'm not sure, like this just kind of sits, it doesn't really sit well on his head. It flops around, so that's kind of useless. It's interesting that they added them, but in another episode he went snorkeling, and this again, it just kind of sits on his head. I'm not that into gimmicks. The gimmicks just kind of always sit in a box. Then he has some flippers that go with the snorkel. I don't remember, but I guess there must have been an episode where he used a slingshot, and it is stretchy, although the stone is attached in there, so can't really use it to fling. To go with his Mazinger Z outfit, they have this chest plate, which for some reason doesn't attach. You could put it up there. It looks like it would attach, but it doesn't. So that's kind of strange. It's a little weird. He's got a couple of missiles that he can grab, and that's one of the shocking things about this figure, is that these fingers are all fully articulated, which is uncommon in figures to have fully articulated fingers. But particularly as big as this figure is, there certainly are bigger. I'd say this is probably 7.5 to 8 inches, something like that. I'd have to look it up. But usually that's more in like the 10, 11, 12 inch range. So that's pretty cool. Now that these fingers the hands are plastic. They're not metal, even though they might look metal. But, there is a ton of metal in here, so it's certainly not a complaint. There's a lot of surprising movable pieces in here. And so he can bend over. It's a really interesting figure, really amazing. And the colors are absolutely gorgeous. So you have here 4 different alternate hands, and so these are not articulated. He's got some fists, some grab hands. Comes with 3 different faces. I believe, this is the face that comes with it. So you just pull the one face off and replace it. I think one of the most amazing gimmicks that it comes with is this basket, which is wicker. So, at some point he has this carrying it on his back. I don't know how they made this. I don't know if somebody went through and made it by hand, because it is all wicker. I mean, maybe I don't know if they farmed it out to like Indonesia or something, but that is really, really impressive for a gimmick. I saw it in the pictures. I was like, is that really legitimately wicker? And then he's got this, I think, when he was like a sumo wrestler. I'm going to be, again, going through this. I'm going to be going through Great Mazinger. So I'm kind of excited. This is a fun celebration of one of the most legendary series. So I'm going to give a look at this figure, and I highly, highly recommend it. I bought this from Hobby Link Japan. I actually got it from there for a decently lower price than it was selling for in the United States. That is not always the case. I did a video a few days ago talking about purchasing from Japan and whether it's better or whether it's worse, and the answer is sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. In this case, I came out well ahead by purchasing directly from Japan, and I seem to have gotten it well before American consumers. I think that I want to say the figure is not scheduled to come out until 2024 at Big Bad Toy Store, and it's significantly more expensive. HLJ packed it nicely. They sent it super fast. But this is really an exceptional figure. I have 2 more Carbotix figures, 5 Pro Studio Carbotix figures that I have pre-ordered. One from Hobby Link Japan and one from Big Bad Toy Store. I have Black Getter Robo coming, and I have Mazen Kaiser. And I'm really excited now because they knocked it out of the park with this one. Now you can put in, if you can see this This is the three characters, so you can have all three, or you can have just Boss. I didn't open these. I'm probably not going to open them. And they can sit in there. I think it would have been cool because they're just going to sit there on the floor. It would have been cool if they had been held in there by a magnet, but they aren't. And there's even, look at that, you can even see detailing in there, the door in there. That is just amazing. And the facial features, the expressions. And of course, since it's a magnet, it can, move all around. Very, very cool. Other than the fact that the gimmicks just kind of, they don't really work that well. A lot of the gimmicks. I give this figure just A+. It is going to be one of the highlights of my shelf, and it has single-handedly rekindled my love for Mazinger Z, which was probably the single most influential giant robot anime for me from when I was a child, and I remember it from just I never saw the cartoon when I was a child, but because it didn't come to the West, but I remember the figures, the Shogun Warriors, and it really influenced me, and it probably is the number one reason why I'm into giant robots today. And this figure here is just like the ultimate figure for me, and I'm super excited to see what 5 Pro Studios and Blitzway is going to come out with next. And they have definitely jumped to the top of the list when it comes to my most desired company, the figures from that company. So anyway, this is Boss Borat from 5 Pro Studios and Blitzway in celebration of the 50th anniversary of Mazinger Z.